I'm going to start by highlighting that we all know that universities have got three main, let's say, missions. Universities teach students. Most of these students, depending, and of course, and it varies enormously from university to university, but especially across OECD countries, teach, in the majority of cases, local students by academics that not just teach, but they do research, the second mission. And these academics might be local, but they might come from somewhere else, but that research is probably far more mobile. And the third mission is this idea of transforming the economy, and transforming society, or helping transform society, which can be done at a global scale, but in most cases, the implications are far more local. I would argue that the balance between the weight universities give to teaching and the weight universities give to research and pure research and the type of research that is being conducted affects this capacity of universities to conduct a third mission. And in my opinion, looking at what has happened in recent years, the balance between the teaching and research has been massively tilted in favor of research for many reasons. Governments, very often in public universities that put money, want to see results, and results in terms of greater knowledge being generated by the academics in those universities. And the appearance of rankings has tilted the balance very much in terms of research. I know that John has said that rankings increasingly value other things just more than pure research. They value relationships with the local economy and things like that. But if you take a look at the rankings, in reality, what they consider is output in terms of publication, they consider citations, they consider prizes and Nobel Prizes in particular universities. They consider reputation, and reputation very often by academics like myself. I've been in the last couple of months inundated by messages from university administrators saying, could you please give a nice word about our university so that we can climb up in the QS rankings in the next year for 2022, 2023. So those are the sort of things that are driving increasingly university administrators. And that has an implication because for researchers and academics, what is given valued is mainly how much you produce in terms of research outputs, much more than how well do you teach and how much you convey knowledge to students. So promotions across most universities in the world are now increasingly based, or dominantly based, on how much you have produced, what is your ranking, not just within your department, but also within the university, and relative, as I got the other day when I was asked to evaluate candidates for promotion at different universities. How do you rank relative to other researchers in top institutions at similar levels in their career in top institutions in the world? So that creates an incentive to do research. It doesn't create an incentive to teach, and it doesn't create an incentive to actually go out and convey the knowledge you're generating to the local fabric, to local firms, or to local stakeholders. Very often that linkage is actually not just not encouraged, it's actively discouraged. Because if you do that rather than promote research, you end up not being promoted, you end up put in a corner at the university, and therefore that limits that capacity. The problem is that in the research I've been conducting with colleagues, both in Norway and in Sweden, what we find in the case of Norway is that the bigger the capacity of local universities to actually climb up the rankings by producing more excellent research, very often basic research, the lower the capacity of those universities to connect to the local fabric, to actually create linkages to local stakeholders, which very often are local firms. So that problem of translation that Shir was talking about becomes bigger. The gulf widens, and therefore the capacity of these universities is far more limited. In the case of Sweden, we find that the higher the capacity of a university to actually generate more excellence research, the lower the impact on the local economy in terms of greater new activity that is being generated and greater growth. And this is a problem because on the whole, not everyone can aspire to become Harvard. Not everyone can aspire to become MIT.